Multi. With Sportsbet's same race multi, you can combine multiple runners in one race for bigger odds. How's that sound? Conditions apply. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858.
Right across Melbourne and Sydney, Simon O'Donnell and Cam Luke as we head towards what is going to be a huge weekend. And you and I, we are very rarely in agreement. But earlier in the week, we agreed that the race, the Everest, is the greatest sprint race in the world. It is extremely hard to argue.
Not by a length and a half either.
No, by miles.
Yeah.
Miles.
Long way.
Peter Volandis, Chief Executive of Racing New South Wales, no doubt agrees with that notion. Pete, good morning to you and thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Cam. Good morning, Simon.
G'day, Peter.
Hey, Pete, we love it. We love the Everest. We love not just the race. In fact, the race might take a back seat to everything else that it compromises over as we lead into it. But when the idea of the Everest was first approached or discussed or brought up by you or however it might have played out, did you think it would be so successful so quickly into its introduction?
I think it's exceeded expectations. I always knew it would generate a lot of publicity because of the slots and how people have differences of opinion. And the money, of course, having a $15 million race. We started at $10 million and moved it up to 15. We copied the concept from the Pegasus in the United States. We watched what mistakes they made, so we didn't replicate them. And we made sure that we had the race that we're good in, which is over the sprint distance to 1,200 metres. You know, in Australia, we breed sprinting to middle distance horses. And so we've got the best in the world. And that's been proven so many times when we've gone to Ascot and beaten the English on their home turf. You know, the horses that have come to Australia to compete in the Everest have been non-competitive. They've come last and second last, which just shows the dominance of Australian sprinters.
It feels like, Pete, that everything that goes around it, the barrier draws and really cool spots, has it just grown organically and also taken you by surprise? Because it seems like you come up with a new wacky idea that everyone loves each and every year.
Look, the race is designed for the younger demographic. It's designed for the under 30s. As we know, not many people other than the Melbourne Cup buy tickets before the event. They buy them at the gate. But with the Everest, we sold 22,000 tickets. 80% of them were under the age of 30. Everything we do, every publicity we do, we aim at them because that's the mistake racing has made over many years. We've lost generations and we've got to make sure that there is a racing industry in 20 to 30 years. So we've got to make it attractive and get them engaged and, doing the barrier draw on the Opera House and on the Harbour Bridge and just gets them in and gets them engaged.
From those outside influence points of the barrier draw, etc., Peter, the build-up to the race itself really fascinates me. That it's showcasing racing. I suppose the inside mechanisms, how it works. The owners negotiating runners to get slots. All the things that we don't see about racing, but this is it's showcasing some such exciting parts to stimulate that younger generation to get involved.
Absolutely, Simon. And look, as we know, we all have differences of opinion. So when a slot owner picks a horse, you say to yourself, well, why did he pick that horse? Why didn't he wait and do this? So it causes controversy and it causes... And you do see that the deals that are being done and how much prize money they're sharing. And, there's quite a lot of intrigue in it. But for some reason, and I'm hoping it's the way we've marketed it, it's attracted the younger generation. And the younger generation don't want to do what their parents do. So this is their generational race. This is their one that they're going to take forward into the future.
Peter, the generational race, where does it go to in time? Now, we know that racing is heaped in tradition in inverted commas, but Cam and I agree, and so I'm sure to most of the Australian racing public, this is the best sprint race in the country, if not in the world. When does it get a group status, or is there a possibility of it getting a group status, and when do you think that could be?
Look, the race is deserving of a group status. It's a Group 1 race anywhere in the world. I think it's the highest rated race in the world. It's certainly amongst the top 5. So it's a Group 1 in anyone's language. But part of me doesn't want it as a Group 1 because, the younger generation, and they don't want the tradition. They want this new, exciting, vibrant race. So giving it a Group 1 might actually harm the race. It might harm the brand. So I'm at 50-50 about it. It certainly assists the breeders and the traditionalists, etc., having it as a Group 1. But the young people that come to the races, they would know a Group 1 from a Group 22. So that doesn't really matter to them. To them, it's entertainment. And what we have to understand with racing is we're in the entertainment industry, and you've got to, come up with new ideas and new innovations to attract that next generation. If you stand still and rely on tradition, you'll be looking at the obituaries to see what customers you lost.
But so you're saying that the reason or the holdback in the journey of getting this to group status is actually you would have to change how horses qualify, how you buy slots. So it's the model needs to change for the race to have group status. Is that what you're saying?
No. Look, the race is a Group 1 race. It doesn't need to change any concept. There's a lot of arguments that because it's a slot, it's a restricted race. That's complete rubbish. The Pegasus in America was a Group 1 straight off the bat, which has got the same concept. So it's racing politics that hasn't made it a Group 1. But I'm sure in the future, and this is for the traditionalists and the breeders, etc., it will be a Group 1. We'll hide it to the younger generation when it is a Group 1, but it deserves a Group 1, and it's embarrassing for Australian racing that it's not.
Pete, you mentioned it started at 10 million, it's now worth 15. Is there a ceiling on the prize money? Like $15 million is a remarkable number, but all of a sudden, if the success continues to grow, can we see this be worth $20 million in the future?
That's the objective. We want to get it to 20 million. What we said, any revenue we generate from the race, we're going to put back into the race. That's how we got to 15 million. The race is now, the second biggest wagering event on the New South Wales TAB and on some corporate bookmakers, and only the Melbourne Cup beats us. So while it continues to grow and it continues to grow revenues, and it's popular in every state, we've marketed it in every state, we'll continue to put the prize money up. In New South Wales, we see the shareholders being our participants if we were a public company. So any revenues we generate, we give it back in prize money. And that's why prize money's gone up so dramatically in New South Wales, because any revenue we get, we give back. And that's our job.
Peter, Sorry, Peter. I'm not sure what your relationship with Cam Luke is here, my co-host of the show, but he's an ideas man similar to yourself. Mm-hmm. You're a very practical ideas man. You actually get them and you bring them to fruition. Cam puts his forward and they never seem to come to fruition. But this week he put forward the idea of having it on the same day, pre the Everest being run for $15 million.
Yep.
He felt there's need for a mini Everest with Shetland ponies. Mm-hmm. Do you think I need to have you and Cam having a little powwow together at some stage, or do we just call this off right now?
Now, hang on, Pete. Before you answer, we see, of course, football codes have Little League and the kids get to go on and enjoy the experience. So my idea is to have 12 Shetland ponies and kids, of which you speak about the younger generation. They're dressed up in the same silks as the 12 runners in the Everest, and they bolt down the straight half hour before the main event. And all of a sudden, you've got a whole new audience, a whole new generation experience, 40,000 crammed in. It's a good idea, Pete, right?
Brilliant idea. I love it. And look, it's already occurring in Ascot over, with pony races. They have pony races during the major race meetings.
Thank you,
so
Pete.
So, Cam, you're a step ahead of everyone else, mate. Don't let anyone stop you, because that's a great idea. And we will implement it.
I'm telling you.
Peter,
I'm telling you.
No,
I knew if
my
there was
life
one.
has just become a misery.
It's my favourite race. He's my favourite racing administrator. He's now, of course, he's going to be a co-businessman when we get into business around this. Hey, we also love the Golden Eagle. Of course, a couple of weeks away as well. But that's another race that continues to becoming bigger and bigger each and every year. Again, like the Everest. Did you see this becoming so successful? It's obviously a little bit interestingly placed that sometimes gets a little pushback when it was announced a couple of years ago. But this race gets bigger and better, and we expect one of the Victorian stars. I'm thunderstruck to head to Sydney in a couple of weeks' time. Is this a race that's exceeding your expectations as well?
No, look, I always had hope for this race, because what I'm told by trainers, and when I started in harness racing, and they said the same thing there, is that a horse is at its peak as a 4-year-old. And we had races for 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, but we didn't have a race for a 4-year-old, an elite race for 4-year-olds. So that's where the idea came from, to have the Golden Eagle, is to have a elite race. So when we started developing the concept, we went back 5 years and put all the 4-year-olds on paper. And they were some of the most competitive and quality races we could see if we had it 4 years ago. So that's why we went with it. look, we don't believe that we're upsetting the Melbourne Carnival. It brings the spotlight to both states. It makes racing the main event, in New South Wales and Victoria. We've proven that with Caulfield and the Melbourne Racing Club. Together, we're now generating the highest turnovers they've ever generated. So it puts the spotlight on. I don't think people should be seeing as though we're trying to harm the Melbourne Carnival. In fact, we're trying to enhance it and put racing in both states in the spotlight. And the one thing I'd love about the Golden Eagle is that $750,000 of that prize money of that race goes to charity. Every owner has to select a charity, and they get 10% of the prize money, the charity, which is fantastic. And 1 year, $400,000 went to the National Jockeys. Last year, it went to Ty Anglin's Trust, who is assisting, people in necessitated circumstances. So it's more than just a race. It's also a great event for charities.
Pete, appreciate your time as always. Couple before we do let you go. We know you've got a huge day ahead. You got a tip for us?
Look, I think the speed's going to be on in front with Nature Strip and Eduaro. So I think Mars Crusader or Classique Legend. I'd love to see Classique Legend for the 82-year-old trainer, Les Bridge. A great man. He's been a legend in the industry. He's just a little quiet achiever. He did it last year. But I think the horse that may surprise everyone is Mars Crusader. All
right. I do want to say as well, Scoob and I are a huge part of Saturday Trackside here and the entire trackside that goes through 16 SEN track stations. And, of course, tomorrow, thanks to Sky and the Tab, we're going to be able to broadcast from Race 4 onwards via Saturday Trackside, all the racing rights, Everest Day, and then again, Golden Eagle Day in a couple of weeks. And not just the SEN track 16, we're going to New Zealand, the 28 stations we have over there, and 1116 SEN and 1170 in Sydney as well via SEN. So I thank you for that because it enhances and adds to our product and the ability to be able to do that. So firstly, from us and all the SEN track and SEN listeners, thank you for that opportunity and good luck tomorrow for what is going to be a wonderful day. Scoob, you got any last questions?
Yeah, no, I haven't got a last question for Peter. What I have got for Peter, I'll tell you what I've got for Peter. Peter, the Pandora's box you've just opened by letting his Shetland pony race probably get some oxygen. I hate to think what he's going to do with 12 or 16 miniature eagles flying up the track at Rose Hill or Randwick. I'm not sure. I'm not sure when this is now going to stop, Peter.
The eagles might be a bit difficult, but certainly with pigeons, that's not a bad idea. Having 12 pigeons. Where's Bill Laurie when you need him? So that's the next step.
Whose name comes first, do you think? Do you think it'd be the Peter V'landys Cam Luke Mini Everest or Cam Luke Peter V'landys Mini Everest?
It's definitely the Cam Luke Mini Everest. I'm very excited about it. I'm going to start planning it now so we can have it for next year.
Hey, I'll let you get through the weekend and then we'll talk early next week, mate. We appreciate your time. We're looking forward to tomorrow and, of course, going forward. This getting bigger and better each and every year, mate. Enjoy it. Thank you.
Well done, Peter.
And good luck with the new venture. And we'll, in New South Wales, 100% support SEN. So good luck, fellas.
Thank you, Peter V'landys. Thanks, you go.
Peter.
Well, you know what? I know as a racing administrator, he's already at the top of the tree. He's just gone through the roof.
I can't believe
this time next year we were doing
how
this show.
How he's given this oxygen is beyond me.
And can we change our poll that we've got up? We need to scrap one of the races. It should be, what race do you want to win? Melbourne Cup, Everest, Cox Plate, Mini Everest. News, plenty more on the other side of this, including Jackson Kerr, who will tell us how the track at Caulfield's going to play.
For I forgot Miss Sweetheart's almond milk, and for her I travel far. But truth be told, I have the goal of driving in my car. Hey! Oh, ye horror, I'm taking me Cara, pride of the fleet, and all she meets the flagship Vitara.
Test drive the car and album today at suzuki.com.au. Every trip be an adventure. Suzuki, for fun's sake.